Are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Sure,
Are you
I'm
prepared
willing
to
do
specifically
do it?
Well, go ahead, sir.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it.
Do you want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
Who would
right
you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud
militia.
Boys, stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem. This is a left-wing.
FBI director
This
said
is a left-wing problem.
White supremacist. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got to be
not
kidding.
militia. That's what his FBI. FBI director
Gentlemen,
said.
Well, then you know what?
No, we're done, sir. We're moving on to the next. We're moving.
Chat here back again with another reaction video, and in today's video, we'll be reacting, or I'll be reacting to that debate, if you want to call it that, that went on the other day. Just give my thoughts how I think it went, who I think won, who lost. I get straight to it. I think the American people lost in that debate because it was plain awful. I don't think neither side gained any support with what went on. It was literally like a playground fight between two kids. It was entertaining, at least in terms of being useful in gaining input to the table. I don't think it did either one. So yeah, but I don't know what to take good from it, but what I would definitely like to talk about, which is something I've seen happen a lot, and a lot of people been like left media, and some people as well keep bringing up the same thing in regards to Mr. Proud Boys himself, because you must know, right? He came up with the name, so you must know what it is, because he must be one of them, Mr. Biden, and Mr. Wallace, that keep like trying to trip the president up by asking him the same question they've been asking him for years, that he has always said the same thing about. But the funny thing to me about it is, like, how many times they're gonna keep asking him that, and how many times you have to see it. He denounces it, and shows his stance for it to be enough. And I made a post on Facebook the other day showing just some clips of the numerous times that they have actually denounced racism, white supremacists, all that stuff over the years. How many times he has done it, that it shows that it'll never be enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the main thing behind my post, the message I was trying to get across, that this is why you don't pander to mobs, right? And you don't do stuff to gain support, because no matter what, people still gonna try to poke hole in whatever you do and try to find a fault with it. Now, I was told that Mr. Wallace himself is supposed to be like a Republican, but at the same time, you want to be fair, right? You have to get somebody that's neutral. I expect to do a debate. You can't get someone that represent one side or the other. Otherwise, somebody gonna have a problem with it. It should always be someone neutral. That I think that's moderating the debate. But I digress. But I think it seemed like, to me, it looked as if someone had their hands in his pocket because of how he was going at Trump, right? Because they just kept going at him over, will he denounce today? And like, even if he denounced it right then and there and he said yes, even if he did it right there, somebody's still gonna find a problem with it. And they're gonna come back the next day and find another problem with it. Like, and that's why you just, like, if they don't wanna believe it and they don't wanna accept it, just let them let them deal with it, right? Let them complain and whatever. Don't pander. Your action does enough speaking. The president action for me does enough speaking to show where he stands in regards to all that stuff. But it was just like, you could tell what they was doing. They tried to beat the president into tripping up, and we know the type of guy Donald Trump is. He's not gonna back down from a fight, and that's what the left like to do and like to capitalize on, is the fact that they can beat him into seeing certain stuff or reacting a certain way, and They just keep double teaming on him. That's what it looked like to me because, he already showed. I'm like, what difference does it make if he says it right then and there? Shouldn't it matter more about his action? And he did say it there, like his policies. Isn't that should be the biggest importance to people? That's kind of the weird part to me, where that shows you how different the strategy of the left is compared to the right. Because from all I've seen with Mr. Biden and most of the stuff I've experienced being on the left is just mostly pandering. It's just pandering to your feelings and your pain and stuff like that, but nothing behind it, nothing fruitful behind it. So I'm like, that's all it takes for them to for them to win supporters, or for the supporters to be happy, is just to pander. Just something big happen, just denounce it and all that stuff, and don't do anything behind the scenes. Don't do anything with your action to show where you really stand. Just just say you're sorry, and you denounce that, but behind the scene do nothing else. And they're like, okay, okay, he denounced it, so that's all we need. We don't need nothing else. Like, versus with Mr. Trump, um, it's more of an action. Let me show you where I stand. And he shows it with all his policies and stuff that he's planning to do even more about where he stand. But he said it multiple times, and I'm like, how many times does he have to denounce it for, excuse my language, for the media just shut the fuck up? Like, and back off. How many times is enough, right? I saw one guy commented on the clip that I put together, saying that one of the stupidest comment I've ever seen anyway, but I thought it was just like that comment in itself again proves why you don't pander. He says it's interesting how none of those apologies or nouns seems recent enough, right? Like, what? And then also he said, why didn't he denounce racism when George Floyd thing happened? And then also in the same line says he believes he's free to denounce racism and white supremacists because he'll lose supporters or voters. I'm like, what a dumb, stupid, thoughtless comment to see. Like, really? Like, man, at least think before you talk, bro. Like, I'm like, freedom of speech, but still, just prepare to get roasted. And of course, people, you know, obliged by responding to it. I didn't. I just like look at them like this don't even deserve a respond. But I thought it was funny because I'm like, there's so much holes in that line where it proves like right why I said don't pander, because it always find an excuse. It'll never be enough. It will never be enough, right? Because he is saying like he's afraid to apologize or denounce because he's afraid he's gonna lose voters. Dude, if it's actually the opposite. That's how stupid it is. If he says and give in to what you guys want, he's actually going to gain supporters, not lose. He's going to gain. Because for the people out there that all they care about is someone pandering to the feelings, he's going to win those people over by giving in. So it's actually the opposite. Like, he's not going to lose anybody. He's going to gain. So it's like crazy to me, like, and then you seeing him not coming out and seeing it when the George Floyd stuff happened. You know what it did? When the George Floyd thing happened, it went and made policies and put in place stuff that stopped the police from putting guys in chokehold. That's what it did. It did with his action. He didn't have to come out and see it. He's like, I'm going to work on something. That's what it did. Met with people and victims of racism and try to help them find solutions. That's what it did. But it just made it. It was just so many holes in that line that it wasn't even worth to respond to me, and it just kind of just made me not made and say, see, that's why I said what I said, and that's why I'm right. Like, you don't pander, man. If I do something and it offends you, well, that's what the First Amendment is about, right? It's like up to you to whether you want to like apologize and all that stuff, and you should know on your own when you should and when you shouldn't. But for me, man, I don't let the feelings of people dictate my reaction and how I talk. Like, I not the way I work. Like, if the only way that's going to change is unless like the end the First Amendment, right? Your freedom of speech, your freedom of expression, like just because you don't like my opinion doesn't mean, or it hurts your feeling doesn't mean I'm gonna not say how I feel just because it's gonna hurt your feeling. Complain to whoever made the First Amendment and the Constitution. Like, that's what everybody has a right for. Just as you have your right to express your disapproving for Trump, I have my same right to express how I feel about anything else. Like, it goes both ways. So, but yeah, that's kind of, what my main issues was with it. I thought pretty much both of them did badly. They didn't spend enough time talking about policies and stuff like that. But of course, I think that was the strategy of Biden, because he has nothing to offer. So all he can do is try to throw dirt on the opponent and sidetrack them from talking about the stuff that they've done. So, but yeah, I just thought they could have done better. But in terms of this, I don't think this actually caused the president or will cause him to lose any supporters or anything. Actually, I don't think it will go up because of this, or it will drop. It's kind of going to be okay. But what's going to let him gain supporters and still eventually win is his actions and stuff that he's been showing, right? Like, that's for me what I'm looking at. What are you doing for me? Not what are you saying to me? Is what are you doing? What have you done for me lately? That's the way, I go at, and that's how you get me. So, but it was cool. I just think, like, next time they should get a moderator that's actually neutral to both sides, because I don't know, that guy, just he didn't do a good job moderating. And unfortunately for Mr. Biden, he didn't do much to show what he's bringing to the table. So he's, not in any good spot himself either. But yeah, can lie in bed with the Proud Boys thing, because the only one proud here is the proud Americans that's going to be happy, when the MAGA train gets the dub, come November. So hopefully you guys, enjoy my reaction to it. Sorry there wasn't much else to talk about, because there was nothing else noteworthy, I think, that went on. That's probably the main thing I got from it. Just that last piece where I'm like, I'm just frustrated with that part, really. They keep asking the same stuff and show that it's not enough. It's kind of similar to the Ellen DeGeneres apologies. No comment from me on whether I agree or approve of her apology. Just using it as an example where no matter how she apologized, it would have been rejected. It's the same thing with this line of the situation that Trump in. Even if you give in to the pressure, somebody's gonna still find problem with it. She give in, she apologized. Somebody still find problem with the apology. Say, hey, you don't seem authentic enough. You don't seem real enough. You can't please everybody, and that's why you don't pander, right? If they like you, they like you. If they don't, they don't. So that's the way I look at it, man. So, hopefully, you guys enjoy the short, reaction and thoughts on how I think that went. And you guys have a good one, Mr. Wicked Shot. Peace out.